What's going on, bros? No UFC this weekend, so I just wanted to come on here and talk a little bit about what happened last weekend, and what's going to happen next for the new lightweight champion, new double champion, Ilia Topuria. This fucking guy, his run has been ridiculous. Like, there have been fighters, like DC, all sorts of different champions that are saying like this is the best 3-fight run that we've ever seen from anybody in the UFC. What he did with Volkanovski, Holloway, and Oliveira has just been short of the fucking miraculous. It's been insane. So just running through that here. I chose a picture of Volk that just didn't show his unconscious face because goddamn, that hurt my heart. It hurt my heart bad. All right. And as a Volkanovski fan, I'll be the first one to admit it. I was coping. I was saying, oh, he came off the Islam head kick. His chin was affected. And Islam only got him because I was on 10 days notice. I'm a Volk fan. All right. So I was coping. I was like, that's some bullshit. Max Holloway is going to get him. He fucking does the same shit to Max Holloway. And I was coping again. I was pissed when this happened. I was even more mad than when he knocked out Volk. Because when he knocked out Volk, it was just sadness. When he knocked out Max, it was just anger. Like, he's making me go through the 5 stages of grief. This man is insane. And then finally, when it came to Oliveira, I was at acceptance. But before that with Max, I was like, oh, it's just because he came back down to 145. It was the weight cut. That's some bullshit. And then going to the Oliveira fight, I was like, okay, I can't, for the sake of my sanity and health, I cannot continue to doubt this man and just root for the other guy because I can't take it. I can't take it. I can't be being against this dude. And then he just wins. And then I'm fucking miserable afterwards. I was like, all right, listen, he's going to knock out Charles Oliveira. And I was right. Now, based on the 3 contenders that he has to fight at 155, that's Paddy fucking Pimblett, lad. This fucking guy, goofy boy Paddy, who is coming off of an impressive win over Michael Chandler. We got Arman Sarukian, his nickname Ahal Kalakets, whatever the fuck that means. And then we have Justin the Highlight Gaethje. Gaethje coming off of that crazy knockout loss against Max Holloway, and then got a decision win over Fiziev coming in on short notice. So I wanted to look at these 3 guys' last 5 fights, just talk about them a little bit and see who really is the most deserving for fighting Ilia Topuria for his new lightweight title. Because it's not really clear, who deserves to get this next shot. He has the beef with Paddy, the hand sanitizer boy fucking shit that Paddy likes to say, which is like the worst roast ever. Like, come on, bro. Hand sanitizer boy. You can't come up with something a little bit better than that. You know what I mean? Like, whatever. Call him a midget or something at least. So Paddy's last 5 wins. Jordan Levitt, kind of lower level journeyman type. Jared Gordon, that was a very arguable decision. A lot of people thought that was a robbery and could have gone either way. Since that fight, Jared Gordon has looked good. He's gotten good wins. He fought Tony Ferguson, who Tony Ferguson was super washed. That might have been Tony's last fight in the UFC, if I'm not mistaken, was against Paddy. No, it was against Michael Chiesa. So Tony was already on just like a ridiculous losing streak before that. So it's like, okay, yeah, he got a win over the corpse of Tony Ferguson. Like, it is what it is. Same thing with Bobby Green. Bobby Green past his prime, not very, like, he wasn't even in that fight for the most part. And Paddy did look good in that fight. But Bobby just kind of shot a takedown as he got his leg kicked, and then he just got guillotined and put to sleep and almost got his arm snapped in half. So that was a good showing from Paddy, but it's over Bobby Green, who was kind of on a losing streak as well. And then also got a win over Michael Chandler here. He dominated Michael Chandler, beat the shit out of Michael Chandler. But it's like, look at Chandler's record. He was losing to literally everybody. Yes, he's losing to the best of the division, but he was losing to everybody. He only got a win over Dan Hooker and Tony Ferguson in the UFC. And it was the corpse of Tony Ferguson. And then, short notice, crazy fight against Dan Hooker. He just comes in, kind of hits him with the first big overhand he throws, puts Dan out. And then there's Chandler. There's just nothing but losses since then. So it's just like not really the most impressive run of wins for Paddy. Yes, he's winning, but it's like against what names? You know what I mean? Who's Paddy winning against? He's not winning against the best of the best in the division. Not even really close to the best of the best. And then we have Arman Sarukian. His last 5 fights, definitely against more impressive names. He's been pretty inactive for the most part. He got a win over Joel Alvarez. That's an impressive win. He made Joel Alvarez look like he shouldn't have even been there with him. He elbowed him in the first round, cut him open, continued the ground and pound assault in the second round, beat the shit out of Joel Alvarez. That's an impressive win. Had a really close fight with Mateusz Gamrot. Could have gone either way. A lot of people thought Sarukian got it done, myself included, on the night. Got a win over Damir Esmagulov, very high level, not in the UFC anymore, but he was a good fighter, but kind of got exploited with the wrestling whenever he lost. Got a TK over Joaquim Silva. He got rocked in that fight. You know, that's something when people look at like, oh, if this guy is rocking you, what the fuck is Topuria going to do to you? Which is completely fair and justified. That's maybe something that I'm going to say myself when I'm breaking that fight down if it happens. Then he got a TKO over Beneil Dariush. Really made Beneil look like he should retire. Like he made Beneil look like shit. Like he threw a knee up the middle. Beneil kind of reacted to the knee, and then he comes right over the top of the right hand, puts Beneil out cold. And that was after Beneil had lost to Oliveira. So everybody's like, man, Beneil should call it a career. Like he doesn't have it anymore. And then he got the decision win over Charles Oliveira. He was stuck in a guillotine round 1, got his freaking shorts choked off of him. You know, he lost some aura, as the kids say, losing his shorts in the cage. But yeah, he's been on an impressive run. Hasn't really had a close fight apart from Mateusz Gamrot. And then when he kind of got rocked a little bit against Joaquim, but he dominated overall. And then Charles was a close fight. Some people say that Charles won, but I don't really think so. I think you can give Sarukian rounds 2 and 3. And then this is the bad part for Sarukian. He was scheduled to fight Islam Makhachev at UFC 311, and he pulled out about like a day or two before the fight because he threw out his back. You know, people have gone around saying maybe it's the weight, maybe it's his back. Either way, this guy pulled out the day of the fight. Moicano had to go in there. Moicano got submitted. It basically made Makhachev's defense somewhat meaningless because, you know, he beat Moicano, who was going to fight Beneil. Totally different levels. Like, even if Hanato maybe had a camp for Makhachev, he probably could have put up a little bit better of a fight. But overall, that probably would have been the result no matter what. But yeah, it just kind of left this a sour taste in everybody's mouth, the UFC included, most certainly. Dana White was pissed at Arman Sarukian. He was talking about it in the post-fight press conference. He's like, oh, we'll see Arman next year. You know, just completely discounting him from any kind of title fight moving on from the future. They made him make weight here for this fight against Oliveira and Topuria. And merit-wise and based on resume and strength of schedule and wins, I would say Arman Sarukian deserves the win the most. But before I get ahead of myself, moving on to Justin Gaethje. He's the third guy in this discussion. Jesus, his last 5 fights, he has lost more out of the other 2 guys. Patty hasn't really lost any because he's not really fighting anybody too great. But Gaethje's last 5 fights, he got submitted by Charles Oliveira for the vacant title. That was one title fight. He got a crazy win over Rafael Fiziev. That was an insane fight. He was an underdog going into that one because he just got, you know, destroyed by Charles Oliveira. He got dropped in that fight bad. So they're like, Fiziev is really good. Fiziev is really technical. He should be able to get it done. And Gaethje just outdogs him. You know, he loses round 1, moves forward, takes over in round 2, really puts it on Fiziev in round 3. TKO's Dustin Poirier for the BMF title. Insane. He got Poirier just like Leon got Usman, basically. Just 1-2 head kick. Hid the head kick behind the right hand. You know, with Gaethje was orthodox as opposed to southpaw for Leon. But essentially the same combination. Just catches Poirier as he was trying to block with one hand. It goes through the guard, puts Dustin out, and he becomes the BMF champion. And then he has an insane fight with Max Holloway. Max Holloway kind of dominated this fight overall. You know, Gaethje had his moments. He dropped Max at one point during the fight. Didn't count as a knockdown, but he knocked Max down. He punched him and he fucking fell down. So, and he got right back up, but that's a knockdown. Even Max Holloway himself said, man, he knocked me down, man. You know what I'm saying? So that was a knockdown, but everybody just remembers the end of that fight where Max Holloway points down to the ground. These guys start swinging. And at the very, very, very last second of the fight, you can see it right here, 4 minutes and 59 seconds. He lands body, head, just over the top, nasty right hand to put Justin Gaethje out, unconscious. It just face planted into the ground, fucked up. He got fucked up by Max Holloway, okay? And then he got a canceled fight against Dan Hooker, Fiziev came in on short notice, crazy fight. You know, Fiziev put his freaking butt cheeks in his face, got him in that mountain triangle. And then Gaethje, started trying to take over in that fight. If I said Gaethje put him in the mountain triangle, I meant Fiziev. But yeah. So that's who we got, these 3 guys. You know, Justin, out of the three of these guys, I mean, you could argue Patty's entertaining, but I would say just if you're a striking lover like me, I would say Gaethje's more exciting because you know what you're getting with Justin Gaethje. He's going to go in there and he's going to scrap. He's going to go to war. He's going to swing for the fences, throw punches as hard as he fucking can at Ilia Topuria. But just based on what has happened to him in the cage recently, you know, with the Max Holloway win, my light just went out. I don't know if you give Justin Gaethje that title shot. And Patty does not deserve this title shot, man. I know he has that beef with Topuria. I know they don't like each other. I know it's a marketable fight. I know that it would bring big numbers, but just merit-wise, like he's coming off of a win over Michael Chandler. I think Patty's ranked number 8 right now. Michael Chandler was losing to absolutely everybody. You know, if you discount the Tony Ferguson kick, which, I mean, you could, he's on a 5-fight losing streak, minus the corpse of Tony Ferguson. So it's like you beat a guy that was on a 5-fight losing streak, and then you're going to get a title shot off of that? You know, I don't really think so. So I would say, like, just Sarukian would be the guy to get this done, as I'm getting a call coming in right now. Sarukian would be the guy based on merit to deserve the title shot the most. But I do appreciate everybody for tuning in. Let me see here. All right. The girlfriend got into a small little accident, little bumper scratcher, nothing crazy. Everybody's okay. So I just needed to attend to that real quick. But back to my point, Arman Sarukian, I feel like just based on merit, based on strength of schedule, is the most deserving to fight Ilia Topuria for this title. Even with the pullout, you know, he did come up and make weight as the backup. So, you know, that has to give him some goodwill with the UFC. You know, just give this guy his shot. He was supposed to fight for it anyways. Some bullshit happened. He had to pull out. It is what it is. You know, he was the number 1 contender. He still is the number 1 contender. I feel like Arman Sarukian should get the shot here for sure. And then from there, we'll see if Ilia Topuria continues defending the belt. He can defend against Patty if he wants, whatever. Patty and Justin should fight for the number 1 contender, just based to see who's next. You know, see what happens there. I feel like Patty, with the jiu-jitsu advantage over Gaethje, who just doesn't train jiu-jitsu, he doesn't give a fuck about jiu-jitsu. I think if Patty gets him down, you know, Justin's in for a long night. But if that's just contested on the feet, you know, Justin, I feel like he's clean enough, gritty enough, powerful enough to make that hard fucking fight for Patty Pimblett, regardless of the youth advantage and the athleticism and the size that Patty has. But yeah, from there we'll see what happens. If Ilia Topuria is going to try to move up and chase Islam Makhachev up to 170, that'd be insane. But I don't want to see him fight Islam at 155. I really don't. I would rather see that fight happen at 170, just because I feel like at 155, like I almost feel like I know what's going to happen. He's going to knock Islam out because Islam's all drained from the weight cut. You know, I just want to see him fight Islam at his best. Because imagine if he beats Islam at 170. There's no excuse that you could give, like, oh, Islam was dead from the weight cut, that's why Topuria beat him. It's like, if he beats Islam at his best at 170, that's going to be insane. And I know you guys are probably going to say, oh, how is Islam at 170 his best when he's been fighting his whole career at 155? Because he wouldn't have to cut weight. He wouldn't have to drain himself all the way down. He would be feeling good on weigh-in day. He would be feeling good. He would dehydrate himself a little bit. He would probably have a weight cut for sure, but it's nowhere near the level of a weight cut and the level of suffering that he would have to go through to put himself through to get down to 155. So Topuria would be the first triple champion. Are you fucking kidding me? You don't think that would be more impressive than him beating Islam down at 155, who, you know, is probably a little bit chinny and drained? I think that if Islam wins at 170, Topuria should defend the belt once or twice more, maybe just, you know, against Sarukian, and then against the winner of Patty and Justin. So we'll see what happens. This motherfucker is crazy. His career is ridiculous. He's only 28 years old. The sky's the limit for Topuria. As much as I hated him after he knocked out Volkanovski, but we'll see what happens here with this division moving forward. Thanks for tuning in, guys, and peace out.